Well, there's certainly been a lot of talk recently about the Brisbane 2032 Olympics. So, we thought it was a good opportunity to prepare this short presentation that we've produced in V2i Sketchtime that looks at some really simple and very quick spatial planning comparisons between a variety of Brisbane sites and the Olympic precincts of London, Paris and Sydney. And we've also thrown in Beijing. And for those of you that may not be familiar with the Olympic precinct in Beijing, it's something that needs to be seen to be appreciated. It's quite enormous and it's pretty amazing, so we'll have a look at that also. Now, this exercise is intended to be a very quick and hopefully effective way to help anyone involved or interested in the Brisbane Olympics to simply understand the realities of the size of these existing Olympic precincts and the space that would be required to locate these similar sorts of precincts on a variety of sites throughout Brisbane. You know, this exercise took about 15 minutes in V2i Sketchtime. However, for the sake of this exercise, it's been edited and sped up in some areas. Enjoy.
The first step in the process is visiting these sites and establishing the spatial boundaries for each of the Olympic precincts. Let's start with London. So we identify the precinct and then extract it at scale. We can also do this with any elements of the precinct, such as the stadiums themselves. Once we have uploaded to the Olympics project in V2i Sketchtime, we are ready to go. We have identified the 6 sites of the Olympics project with tags that you can click on to fly over to. Let's start with the Gabba. We will turn off the 3D base data so we just have a 2D image. Here is a simple analysis of the London Olympic Stadium in 2D sitting over the Gabba. And here is Paris. Let's now look at the precincts themselves, starting with Sydney. Then on to Paris. And here is London. Because V2i Sketchtime is web-based, we are also able to integrate all of the Google features to assist with our discussion. In this case, we'll use the London and explore the site in Google and all that Google has to offer, such as Google Street View. And just as an eye-opener, here is the Beijing Olympic precinct overlaid at the same scale. We are also able to do the same with any 3D model or 2D overlay that the design team may have or you can find on the internet. In this particular case, we are dragging a 3D model of the London Olympic Stadium over the Gabba and using the existing spatially accurate photogrammetry to help everyone understand the impact of how this facility would sit over the current Gabba Stadium. In addition to this very simple space planning exercise, we can also draw upon the many layers of publicly available data and turn those on, once again to help all involved make more informed decisions. In this particular case, we are turning on the rail networks and major transportation corridors. We can then also use one of our many real-time decision-making tools to help with informed discussion. For instance, how far away the new Wollongabba Cross River Rail train station is from the stadium, or indeed how far away is Brisbane International Airport, and how long will it take to drive there? Let's now have a look at Victoria Park, and here we will just simply overlay the various Olympic precincts, starting with London, then Paris, followed by Sydney. And as we turn on the transport corridor overlays, the adjacent major roads and rail corridor are easily seen. The Queensland Sports and Athletics Centre is next site to explore. Firstly, we can overlay the London Stadium in 3D. Now let's take a look at the precincts, starting with London. Then Paris, followed by Sydney. Once again, here are the transport and infrastructure corridor overlays. The real-time measurement tool shows us the closest train line is in the order of 4 kilometres from the stadium and the airport is 31 kilometres away. North Shore is another area that has been spoken about. Let's take a look. Here is the London Olympic Stadium in 3D. Let's now overlay the 2D precincts, starting with London, then Paris, followed by Sydney. Let's have a look at the rail and road infrastructure. Now let's go over to Boondall and the home of the existing Brisbane Entertainment Centre. We will just look at the precinct planning exercise here, starting with London, then Paris, followed by Sydney. When we turn on the transportation corridors, you can see the existing Boondall train station adjacent, only 700 metres from the centre of the site. Another area is some land more closely associated with the Brisbane domestic and international airports. Once again, we will just look at the precinct planning exercise here, starting with London, then Paris, followed by Sydney. And finally, there may even be the consideration for building over the top of an existing facility such as these rail yards, ensuring minimal impact to existing open space and environmental areas of Brisbane. So here is the Sydney precinct layer over the area.
Well, there you go. We trust we've been able to get the cogs turning and, importantly, provide you with just a small sample of the sorts of tools that are available now to help everyone involved have more informed, equitable, open and transparent discussions. And as I mentioned earlier, to do this very quickly and very easily in the virtual world to help us all get to the right outcomes in the real world sooner. Take care and bye for now.